days.
They
I'll
certainly
say
were not.
that. So we'll see. Perhaps some improvement has come out since that time. But again, this is being thrown into the fire for Talon as IHC, and this is the team to watch out for. This is the Mongolian chop out to get it done again. 11. You know, I love to tell that story when we were in Japan, but 11's insane in a good way. And this entire roster for IHC is honestly a bunch of swell lads. So
Yeah.
we'll see. They're swell lads in real life, but in game they are, well, they can't.
They certainly can, and already Talon trying to be a little bit vicious here, trying to sneak their way through to the Radiant Triangle, and they will get there without any contest. The outpost has been taken at the very least by IHC, so it's kind of hard for Talon to set up here while the outpost is watching, and well, Ponyo is going to try and bait by showing underneath that. Question is, do IHC go for this? Well, they'll take it away. Now, Talon not going to get the level 1 team fight they wanted, and it seems like IHC are going to do a pretty damn good job of just trying to avoid them altogether.
Both sides should know that area, so value sentry should be pretty handy for either side. Looks like we will just be left with a 1-for-1 trade. No excitement coming out, so just steady start for both sides. See how these lanes break out, of course, as they do get down to it. Taking a peek at Akashi on that spec. Hanging along with good old Ponyo on that AA. Spec AA lane. It can get aggressive if you chip them down fast enough, but most Spectre lanes just go slow. Into a Brewmaster plus a Phoenix lane coming out here from 11 and Ace. A little bit less comfy for the Spec and AA to try to play aggressive. Like, once you hit level 2, level 3, again, you've got a very straightforward way to ignite that Cinder Brew with the spells that you can spam out on Ace. And once you have the Fire Spirits plus the Dive, there's not much you can really do to stop that from Akashi and Ponyo. So they're going to have to play conservatively, trade while they can, but otherwise just focus on that farm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, that mid lane, Yoe going to be up against Sanctity on the Puck vs Earth Spirit matchup. This theoretically should favor Sanctity, but for now, Yoe is having a pretty damn good time. No real contest here for the ES, sitting at 5-0 in terms of CS score. See what Sanctity can do to slow this guy down, but it seems like Yoe gonna be feeling pretty confident in the mid lane.
Yeah, should be fairly fine. You're not going to be under threat from a puck. You've always got your bailout and the Rolling Thunder. You can always clear out the creep wave with a smash as well. So you can just kind of manage this lane. You just have to watch for the puck's right-click harassment. It does have a range advantage here. But Earth Spirit is fairly durable. Rune control is a big part of this lane. I'm keen to see if anyone prioritizes denying off a water rune. That can change the way this lane goes once bottles are into play, but maybe by the 4-minute rune. Not expecting anything by the 2-minute rune, of course.
Bottom lane, 4-2-3, he'll get jump. The Inkswell will land as well, so 4-2-3, he is just going to melt to the damage output of Joe Cam and, of course, WS. And well, that was actually off the back of a missed dead shot. They missed the dead shot on Joe Cam, and WS, he did not hesitate to make the jump in.
I like seeing this build from WS coming out here, going for the Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift, skipping out on the crit on the Chaos Strike at level 2. Allows this aggressive play, allows you to combine in with the Inkswell, playing this double stun lane. Muerta in lane, really squishy. Even with all the stat padding you have with a Magic Wand and Branches, just not enough to sustain through the minus armor damage that WS can get out. So you do have to be cautious about that. Again, for the side of IHC here, 4-2-3 and Se on the Muerta clock. There is some play. You can use the cogs to line up the calling, but trying to jump the CK is always a tough prospect, and Joe Cam's just going to stand a million miles away anyway, so you're not trying to harass out this Grimstroke either.
No, you certainly are not. It'll be just fine for now, as it seems like the Lotus is going to be taken by Se eventually, but never mind, he was a bit early with the cogs, and they are actually still chasing him down. Rift is actually going to land as well. He'll still try for the Lotus Pool. Does get it in the end, but it may just cost him his own life, as Say is still just trying to run. The Stroke of Fate will land and actually eats a Fairy Fire up. Cogs out again. The clock is still running. In fact, he'll run right towards the north with the salve going and just TP out. So he gets away with it.
Does get away with it. He's forced to pop a lot of regen. so he's going to have to try to make use of as much of that regen as possible. At the very least, did still manage to hang on to that Lotus to pass on to 423. You don't miss too much out on Talon. You're still keeping up in the CS despite missing out a couple of creeps there. Not the biggest loss. Overall, a rather balanced start. IHC maybe finding a tad bit more from the lanes, but not by a huge margin. And Talon still lining up for some aggression where they can find it. So, wanting to see. We're seeing some movement out for the Water Runes. At the very least, Ace is coming through, although he will be spotted by the Watcher.
Yeah, Joe Cam there as well. Does secure one for Yoe. Meanwhile, top lane, looks like they were trying to get a little bit aggressive on 11, but he is just fine. Of course, Ace is going to reveal himself back up at that top lane. And speaking of that top lane, they really haven't applied as much pressure as I would have hoped with this Brewmaster Phoenix. Yeah, you kind of would have expected a lot more damage being thrown the way of the Spectre, but it just hasn't really felt that way.
Yeah, it is a hard here to completely shove out. I think that's the one thing. You're doing a great job in just trading right clicks with Ponyo, so he's trying to keep them back with a chill touch, and it just devolves into a farm lane.
Oh, mid lane, Yoe going down on his own. That was a solo pickoff from Sanctity, and that's never really good news if you are the mid-earth spirit. That's a problem.
That is a big problem. Not something you'd expect, especially when, you know, they kind of trade even on Water Runes. They don't really clap back at each other too much. That gives Sanctity an early 6, while Yoe is still stuck at about to hit 5. Nice level advantage for Sanctity to play off of. If he wants to rotate with that Dream Coil, he could. He could also just opt for another kill onto the mid, force Yoe to walk back. Down bot.
WS gets ripped off. The cogs will not push him back, but now it does. Say, still trying to run. There's a dead shot to force WS back, but the chase is still going. Ponyo's shown up. He does secure the clock. 4-2-3 now, forced to fight Sanctity. He's going to rotate over to ensure he can help out. They will at least trade Ponyo. Sure, you miss out on the bigger kill in the CK, but at least you do get something. It's now top lane. Akashi, well, this is the damage we were talking about earlier. It finally starts to be shown off here by Ace and 11. Showcam, but slowed up now by the Cinderbrew, and the Thunderclap should just be going down eventually. They are keeping in Ponyo to help out. 11 is not giving up on the kill though, and does secure. There's not really much Ponyo can do to try and trade at this top lane.
Nah. Really good dive out, really good read on that opening while all of that happens down bot. 11.
Yeah, gets caught. Yoe just in the nick of time with the rolling boulder to cancel the TP off of 11. So sadly for 11, not much you could have done about that.
Yeah, it all boils down to that movement from Sanctity bot. Heads down bot as the power runes spawn up. Yoe gets to grab one, rotates top with a haste, finds a little bit of a pick off for himself off the back of that movement. So each side kind of getting a good read on what to do when these opportunities are shown to them. You are still better off right now on the side of IHC. The big issue for Talon now is with a slower lane for Akashi. He's going to have to sit back and farm. His early haunts might not feel as impactful. This blade mail timing is going to be stalled out, and it just makes it a lot more uncomfortable for you to try to play with that level 6 on Spectre.
Uh-oh, Say trying to fight Joe Cam over the Wisdom Room, but does not get away with it. Might still be able to chase down Joe Cam though, as Joe Cam is going to be okay, waiting for WS to reach there, and he does, as now the Clockwork is the one to go down by the looks of it. And he will drop eventually as WS able to pick up another kill on the CK. A nice attempt at the Wisdom Rune still at least, but just not quite there.
Yeah, and you're feeding all these kills onto the momentum hero of Talon. This CK is the one that needs to kind of pick up the pace, needs to start playing aggressively once a couple of items are up, and the armlet's not going to be too far off now for WS. So you're going to have that opportunity to just run around. He's got the Phantasm ready if he wants to fight or farm and speed himself up. And Talon, what they need to do is really just connect Yoe and WS at some point and allow Akashi to farm. So far they have the foundation set for that. A little bit of a group up on mid with 2 supports coming in from Talon, but picking off a puck with this lineup, not the easiest thing to do.
Absolutely not. Yoe gets a regen rune from himself at the very least.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They've been able to secure that for the puck. Yoe will be very happy with that. In fact, he's going to rotate straight down towards the bottom lane. See if he can set up onto 4-2-3. Be a very nice pick-off if they could get it. Say he's rotated over to ensure that his Murata does not get caught that easily, and Yoe instead just going to see the Clockwork and Does make the roll in. No real hesitation. Kick away, though, is not really going to help their cause, but it won't matter. Joe Cam's able to secure the kill.
Yep, cleans up. And Yoya, I love this activity coming out from the Earth Spirit. He grabs Power Rune. He knows he can do something across the map. And they're just taking attention away from Apache. And his top lane's not left alone, but it won't.
4-2-3 got lifted back here by WS. No fear in the world. And now, well, the Huerta is in huge trouble. He'll get a dead shot away, but they do have the drag back, and with that, 4-2-3 is now gone as Ace and Sanctity trying desperately to try and get some form of a trade going. In fact, Yoe dropping very low. They've already taken WS down. Yoe is still trying to fight this one out. Rolls away.
Oh, no
does
way.
make it for now.
No
Sanctity's
way.
still
What?
going, but can't get the refresh on the Magnetize. Akashi, in the meantime, also goes down on the Spectre. So you tell me who won that fight.
It's a lot bigger for the side of IHC. It looked good for Talon to start with Yoe dancing around and popping that region on edge. But losing your Spec and CK, tough as Ponyo was well down mid.
Yeah, WS is still going though. He will protect his support AA, moving on to 11, taking down both Say and 11 in fact. Double kill for Yoe. And so Talon kind of just returning the favor now.
Yeah. Doesn't quite make up for losing Akashi, but, you know, it compensates for that death on WS at the very least, soaking some farm, some EXP up in that area. They need to just leave Akashi alone for the most part on Talon's end. They can, again, start to play around with Shadow Step, but until Blade Mail plus one item, it doesn't feel comfy at all. Otherwise, 6-9, the aggression for Talon is starting to line up. You do see WS and Yoe up on top in net worth. Akashi is at the bottom, but it's a Spectre. It's going to need some time to build up anyway. For the side of IHC, though, it does feel like we need to see a little bit more coming out. Like, you also have to stall out for 4-2-3. Your puck here for Sanctity is still working onto the Witchblade. Once that's up, the damage output should be a little bit better. You're also working towards a Radiance for 11. So you need time to wait. I'm surprised the Radiance takes priority over, say, maybe an Octarine Rush, but wants that presence up, wants to be able to cut off the damage of the CK, so that's one very big way to get that done. So far, they are clumped up top. Talon's starting to roll their way around with a bit of smoke here.
Yeah, Yoe. Looking at 11. Top lane, the Brewmaster. In trouble. Roll, gonna be right on target, and they've even got the Shadow Step just in case they need the extra damage, and Yoe will take his 5th kill of the game now as the mid ES. Still has the double damage rune just bottle up as well. Just no need to pop it. He'll hold it for another day.
That was some perfect chain stunning coming out from Talon. Like, they stack all their spells near perfectly. Just waiting for that pop in the Inkswell right after the Phantom's Embrace. Just ensuring that there's just no window for you to pop that split. We've seen that to be a consistent issue for Brewmasters, of course. If they never get the split off, they really don't do much. So, have to find a way to try to stall, or at least get 11 to the point where he's not insta-gib down. He is trying to work, again, into the Radiance, into a pipe. Most of the damage of Talon is magical at the moment, so pipe should help him find that window for himself. But for now, as long as he's isolated, he's going to be a very easy target for Talon. You were asking this in draft, Mike, whether or not IHC would allow Talon to play the pickoff game. So far, Talon are finding those openings. Again, not a massive lead, but they're playing to the style that their draft needs them to do here.
Yeah, that they certainly are. They've been a pretty damn good job so far here from the dire end of things. With the start they've had, it really doesn't feel like you need to slow down too much. Especially Yoe, he's got the Spirit Vessel, he's had it for a while, and plenty of charges available to keep this kind of aggression going. You can see IHC, obviously, probably intending on just taking a slower game. Midas being built up on 11. Going for the Radiance build up, so definitely hoping for a later stage of the game here as Yoe. Roll in, but won't find anything for his trouble.
Wants to show off that new Blade Mail on that Earth Spirit rather soon. Doesn't find anything. They do ping wards, but just no one in that area. No real wards to speak of to block that movement out. No objectives being taken, really. That's the one thing as well with this match. Like, even with the pickoffs coming out from Talon, they haven't been able to translate that to too many tier 1s. Only the bot has fallen. They will try with another smoke here.
Yeah, lines were being drawn right out to WS. You want to try with the CK perhaps and say we'll pop the cogs, but there's no real way out of this situation as WS just jumps in casually and takes the kill. Another nice pickup here for Talon. IHC not able to really respond to this. They're just continuing to buy more and more time for their side lanes to catch up, but the Talon, it seems like they're getting away with quite a lot this game one.
That they are. They build the lead up to 2K now on Talon's end. IHC, I mean, they've done a good job of buying space out for 4-2-3. This Muerta has been left alone, keeping up in farm right with Yoe, still above Akashi's net worth as well. And it's still going to take a little bit more time for that to kick in. IHC smoked up here.
Yeah, hook shot out. Joe Cam has been caught. Does at least get the soul bind before he dies, but he will indeed die. There's no real follow-up to the soul bind either, so IHC, they will be able to secure that mid-tier 1 tower by the looks of it though. Bottom lane, 4-2-3, getting jumped by Yoe, but Yoe, he's the one now in danger. He'll be forced to roll away to at least get the piece of the veil committed. So maybe you could think about going back in a little bit later on, but it seems like 4-2-3 is just going to leave the bottom lane anyway. Just go up top where it's a lot safer. I suppose that does allow Talon to continue the aggression down at the bottom lane through that tier 2 tower, but it's a matter of whether they're ready for that. Yeah, I mean, we're only 14.5 minutes in.
Yeah, tier 2 push is a little bit slow for Talon. They don't really have the damage to sustain that. With the mid being taken by the side of IHC, it's a little bit easier to try and invade into that top jungle, which they have warded up really nicely here on IHC's end. So they can start to maybe try to think about that top tier 1, go for Akashi, go for this pick off on the Spectre. While it's still relatively soft, like, it only has the Blade Mail. Still needs more items to really feel impactful here. Talon do manage to trade back a tier 1 mid, but again, they haven't been able to really have too many successful movements down bot outside of those last fights maybe 5 minutes ago. So, the stall game for IHC kicking in. Muerta rushing for that Mjolnir. 4-2 trying to run into that now. They might be able to catch Ace here.
It seems like they may have. Ace. They put Icarus dive away, but you've still got the rolls available here for Yoe, so it's quite hard. He's going to try and Sunray towards the high ground, but no. Ace will go down. Nice, easy pick off once again for Yoe. 6-1 and 3 now on the mid-earth spirit. Bottom lane, WS going to get jumped, but the TPs are immediate, and he might just have enough time to turn this one. If IHC aren't careful, here comes Yoe. He got the silence on Sanctity, and Sanctity is down. It's hard to jump the CK of all things. You know, he's the tanky boy. He is the challenging one to get through.
It's the least likely one that you're going to burst 100 to 0 with a puck and a clockwork. You're going to need some, like, your Muerta or your Phoenix around to kind of help you get that done. And nice set of pickoffs again for Talon. Some good punchment coming out. You've got the Echo Saber already up and running on WS, going for the BKB next. Maybe a disassembly play into that BKB. So you're about to hit critical mass now on that CK. Again, your investment into this Muerta is paying off, but your issue is that you're bleeding out a little bit too hard on your other cores, and especially Sanctity right now in the puck. He needs the blink to really set up these initiations for the team. You've already got 11, who, again, is still trying to work into the Radiance. He could have the full pipe up and running. His inventory slot's just waiting, or perhaps just trying to save up some more. It's been rather slow. I don't think we've even seen one split out from 11. That's how passive or badly this game has gone for IHC so far.
I believe he has not committed at all. You are right on that. He's just been farming. Getting close to the Radiance, but farming nonetheless. Ace. Silence mid-Icarus dive is going to go down by the looks of it, as Akashi will come in to help out, but it's Yoe taking every single kill, which I think might be annoying Akashi just a little bit, considering he's the one that wants the farm desperately right now. But Yoe will continue to act as the position 1.
I don't think it's too bad. Like, you're just soaking up some area gold from sharing in that kill a little bit. You don't mind your AFK farming anyway. You're going to hit Radiance. You're going to start farming even faster at that point. So you don't mind sharing that with your Earth Spirit, who does need some early tempo. Like, this BKB timing for Yoe is going to be massive once he finds that. And he's not too far off from that full BKB.
Yoe, hookshot is out. This could be worth a lot of gold and XP if Yoe cannot find a way out of this one. And he's going to try and roll, but a nice block by Sanctity does take him down, but here comes WS. Takes Joe Camp. Say is also gone, so a 2-for-1 trade in favor of IHC. Yoe, I mean, he was worth a lot of gold. That was a big gold sweep.
That's like 800 gold directly just to the Muerta alone. It's a huge injection for 423. Allows him to also close in onto that BKB now with a full Mjolnir off. And a good punishment coming out from IHC. Talon, again, they've been in the lead, but it's only been a 2k lead max. Doesn't feel like off the back of these pickoffs that they've been able to find as much on the map as they'd want to. They've not been able to take some tier 2s. They can't translate into Roshan off the back of those pickoffs. You're just kind of cleaning up the map and farming, which you don't mind too much on IHC, although you are, again, still lagging a little bit behind on Sanctity and on 11. It doesn't feel like that's all too important. As long as this Muerta gets to that point where it's not going to be easy to burst down, then you've got everything you could ask for from IHC.
That you do. Oh, Joe Camp might be walking. Oh, no, never mind. Say is the one in danger. It's WS. Was there to back up Joe Camp if necessary. Still IHC not really moving as a unit, just buying more and more time for 423, who does now queue up the BKB. They have been running up towards the top lane. Maybe 423 and Ace could try for something, but it seems like now Talon are the ones to retreat. It's kind of the thing with the bigger map, right? Like it feels like there's just too much farm on the map right now.
There really is. There's way too much. A lot of recovery farm that can be found. Even if you're stuck at your own side of a river, as long as no one's crossing, then you're pretty safe to just keep building up like this in the arms race. And it stays pretty dead even. Still in that word, slight lead for IHC. You are on top of the world right now for 423. BKB only the recipe away. Could be a fight though.
Yeah, it could be. Sanctity. And avoid the Ingswell. Will be just fine to blink away through the phase shift. And WS going to stick around though. He's very confident. He's got his own BKB up with max charges, so more than ready to fight whenever. And IHC going to retreat. They do not want to run into the CK once again. Just trying to figure out who the hell this favors, John. I mean, both sides just adamant on hitting creeps for a while now. I wondered, like, do you favor one after the other?
I think it's rather even as it scales. I would say it's maybe easier to play IHC's draft, but not by a huge margin. I think Talon still has counterplay. I think you're starting to bank off Akashi trying to scale up now. You do have some, again, decent itemization coming out from WS. He's got basically the full heart just waiting to go next. Already has the BKB up. Do manage to clear Tormentor here on the side of IHC, so you've got the jetpack ready for Seth. Much more easy to go around, look for some angles on the hooks, and try to be annoying in these fights. But I don't know, like, it feels like even with these pickoffs for IHC, they're also not able to take more of the map away, so you're just kind of stuck waiting for the tension to be unwound and that trap to be sprung, and it feels like there's still a ways off. BKB done on Yoe, so you do have some good ways of just going in now for Talon. You're not too scared of Pierce the Veil. Smoke out though from IHC.
Yeah, WS. Have they spotted him? It seems like they have, but are they confident to move in onto him? It doesn't really feel that way. They're going to try and find the supports instead, and it seems like Ponyo's the one to get scouted. The hook shot is not on the mark, so Ponyo able to force stuff, but he is eventually going to die. That's one down. But Talon, they're moving in. They saw Sanctify. They want the puck down. In they go with the egg, but Sanctify just immediately deleted. Is now the egg being focused, but no. They're actually forced to back away. They don't want to deal with 11 right now. And WS, he's the one to go down to boot. So he gave up your puck, but well, that CK, he was worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he was. They went into that fight. They don't respect that egg with a cog save. And again, they don't have any big egg hitters here on the side of Talon. So they managed to get a good position on IHC. They get the better trade. They come out on top, and they're just set to go. All right, Akashi still hasn't been able to kind of overcome this network differential between him and the Muerta. So you have an item advantage going on here for 423. Even with a Radiance, it's still going to take some time. He's trying to go into the Manta. Would love to see maybe like a Scotty coming out later on. If not, maybe a Heart, although into Phoenix, it's always a little bit awkward. Questionable. Yo is still looking to play though.
And he is. Roll forward. Yoet. Not able to find 11 this time around. 11 going to be okay to walk his way out. You're at the stage anyway where I don't think 11's going to be bursted down that quickly. Again, both teams, they will just sit back and relax. The thing is, if you are Talon, you've got to start to get a little bit worried about how well 423 is farming. It's almost at that stage now where you're building into the Hurricane Pike, and well, he practically has all the damage he requires at this stage. I mean, obviously, with their own CK Inspector, perhaps they're not too concerned about it, but I don't know, this Muerta, it can be a scary girl sometimes.
That it can. Again, as a counterpoint to CK, if you get Pierce the Veil off, you don't have to worry about the illusion damage. You have quite a few seconds to get your burst damage on, and with the Mjolnir, it's a lot of damage fast. Smokes out on both sides here.
They run right into each other. There is vision around this area from Talon, so it's going to be IHC that back their way out. Coil is there, Sanctify, who'll hold down the Grimstroke. They'll even get Yo with a Fear, but WS has jumped into 423, forcing to pierce the Veil, and it's not doing enough quite yet. WS is going to be able to get the BKB off and back his way out, and now in comes the Spectre. They want that Muerta in 423. He is gone just immediately. WS, he survives all of this. And they continue now. And Talon, they've got no reason to back out. There's no carry to worry about. They've got the Phoenix controlled up. Ace, he will go down. 11, he's going to keep trying to chase down after the Spectre. In fact, maybe they have got the damage, and they do. Akashi is gone. They'll try to chase down the Brewmaster now. Yoe kicking him away, but rolling right back in. Does get the 11 Brewmaster down, and in comes WS. He is reset. He'll move in on Tessay and find a clockwork kill for their trouble. That was a 3-for-4 trade with a buyback committed from Jocam. Maybe more to come as well, as Sanctity not able to blink away in time. Looks like he is set to fall, and he is certainly just dead. A full team wipe here from Talon.
Works out. It's a little bit messy coming out, but they managed to isolate 423. He's forced to pop Pierce the Veil early to, again, dodge out that initial burst coming out from WS. And it's all about really how well can you use that Pierce the Veil. Can you pop it when you can actually pump out damage? He was stuck in the tree line. It's a good kiting spot found by WS. So Pierce the Veil just gets wasted. You're vulnerable. He popped BKB early on 423 as well. And Akashi can clean up. The Egg not as well protected in that fight. The Dream Coil popped early by Sanctity as well. So they're not able to try to hold. And it only really caught Jocam, who doesn't mind the buyback. And Talon reeled this game back towards their way, only by a slight margin. Oh, well, less than 1k lead. Again, not too many swings either way. They can't go for the objective. They didn't go for Roshan. Respawns are still short. But they are showing a lot of bite here. So that is some good news. They are showing that they can play into this Muerta. 423, right after the Hurricane Pike, will be going for that Silver Edge we were mentioning. That should provide some ways of holding back Akashi and holding back WS. Although WS now, massive. Has the heart up. It's going to be really difficult to burst this guy down to 0, especially while the BKB is up.
Oh, absolutely. Well, IHC, they're going to stick as a unit now. As 5, they'll run towards the top side, the top Roshan pit that is. Thing is, they are around the area. It doesn't seem like they've got a good grasp of this is happening. But if someone were to check, in fact they are going to check, the Ice Blast is going to get the vision. And I think this is a very strong fight for Talon to take now. Is Roshan, it's still happening, but it's not going down quick enough. Oh boy. Roshan now 1.5k HP. Yoe trying to find an angle, does roll in with his BKB, and he's got the Aegis up. Yoe just takes it away. Oh boy, this is looking real bad for IHC already. They've lost the Aegis, they've lost their puck, and now it looks like they're about to lose their whole team. Egg is down. I mean, 11 is trying to find his own way out, but the Soul Mine is just locking him down. Ace will be lost. 11 does at least manage to run away. So will save, but just the risk taken just amounts to nothing.
Nothing going the way of IHC. They lose the Aegis, and they lose the Roche gold as well, which, you know, it's not an insignificant amount of gold, especially for the supports to find. So a good gold injection coming out for Talon, denying IHC any opportunity to play with Aegis into tier poke. And Talon now can start to, again, just do work. They've got the farm flowing in WS. They've got Akashi starting to get tanky now with a Manta style up. A lot harder to pin down that spec in the middle of these fights. And this is the point where scaling towards the late game, there's some ways to play it where it doesn't drop off. But the ease of execution we were mentioning for IHC, they've got to play with confidence. You know, they've got to jump in with his clockwork, start these fights with a Brewmaster split, get the egg in a protected area while Talon's just kind of trying to fight in. And then you have your opening, but we haven't been able to keep these fights dictated by IHC. It's Talon that's always on the offensive here.
Yeah, but they are. Talon maybe looking toward the tower now. WS does move in. King's coming out on towards Ace and 11. It's like Yoe's going to try for Ace, but Ace does walk back towards the base. It's going to be the T2 bottom now, going for free. WS just no contest for it.
Well, I think they've got to kind of bleed out some of these objectives. They need a little bit more tank here. Like, they need a Silver Edge to be done on 423. It does have the Hurricane Pike flying out at the very least, so some way of getting out of some sticky situations, but needs that break. You need a break to deal with even just a crit the CK. It's going to be a massive DPS loss for WS. Until that point, just kind of stuck hanging. At the very least, your high ground defense is pretty solid from the side of IHC. So Talon can't fully threaten high ground without an Aegis themselves. They're going to have to kind of wait around, but they can take control of the map. Only one outer tower left for IHC, and they're going to have to try to split this farm up. This is the point where you start to look towards your puck to creep cut. Sanctity's de-shoving bot. You can start to just dance around bot and mid to cut off any more control that Talon will want to get. As we've seen multiple times, it is fairly difficult to pin down Sanctity as long as he's got that blink ready.
Yeah, it absolutely is. TP's down towards the bottom lane now by IHC. Just go through the twin gates, just avoiding Talon altogether. Talon still, the roster may have changed, but the strategy has not, Jonathan. They still like to play a slow game here, Talon, and well, that they are doing. Akashi going to get to the stage where he has an Eye of Skadi up next, and has already queued up the BKB straight after that. I mean, this Muerta, like, every fight we've seen, WS just able to force the Pista Veil and just, you know, just ignore her when she does pop it.
And he does. WS's target prioritization has been really on point. Already has the Mage Slayer as well, which mitigates some of that damage from Muerta. So, feeling a little bit more protected here. Has the double damage bottled up. And that last outer tower for IHC, they're not even going to go for defense here. Just keep trying to farm. Tier 2 going to slowly be whittled down by WS. Not in position to defend for IHC. Again, maybe banking off this high ground that their team can pull off. I don't know, the one thing with IHC that makes me kind of wonder is we haven't felt the impact of 11 at all. Like, he's gotten a couple of splits, but they've been immaterial in their impact. You know, it hasn't done much at all. So, I don't know. They're not utilizing the brew to its fullest extent. That or Talon's just making it really hard to isolate heroes.
I'll say, he's been isolated right now. He will at least get a cogs off and continues to just run with the jetpack, but the roll was there. Yoe right on target, gets another. And WS, he finds Sanctity again.
Jeez.
But he had a double damage room to be fair, but oh boy, we're still going. We are still going with this fight. They've popped the Pierce the Veil. In fact, no, they haven't. It was just the BKB. He still has it available, but he might need it now because Yoe is still thinking about going back in. Here comes Akashi now. Hook shot out of the Spectre. They're going to try and burst down Akashi. Akashi's a tanky boy. He'll just move away for now as Yoe still trying to chase down 423 with the rolls out. Not able to find him yet. Yoe, though, is going to spot him now, but the roll is not going to land. 423 is still just trying to get the hell out of here. But even Joe Cam's on his case now. He's gone.
They call him.
I mean, why not? There's just no hope. Talon, you know, as much as, you know, you and I had our doubts, John, they have, at least for game one, they look fantastic.
I feel like Talon looked more than fantastic. Had surpassed my own expectations.